JTR June 9th, 2023. What up? It's your boy Conserviz 34. We're going to look at JTR June 9th, 2023. Okay, this was a special moment in the show last night in Forest Hills, and 50% of the JTRs now, post-pandemic, as I record this on June 10th, have been in the state of New York. Dave puts on for the Northeast and for the Midwest. I mean, that's where most of the DMB fans live. So Dave's going to come up here. He's talking to Stefan. Hey, Rashawn looks over. Oh, what we doing? What we doing? Dave is about to call an audible right here on the set list. Look at that. He's walking closer. He's walking towards, I love how he positions himself to walk towards his guitar tech and say, hey, we're about to do JTR. He's like, listen, this is not Houston where fans were sitting down. All right, this isn't Wilmington where some of the fans were new and didn't know the deep cuts. This is NYC, Queens, aka Forest Hills. We got to put on for the city. Okay, this is one of the most important cities in the band's history as far as fanfare, magical moments. Central Park, MSG with James Brown, just across the river, Giant Stadium in the rain, which is also awesome. Some fans from this show were at that Giant Stadium show with Two Step in the Rain where the clouds opened up. All right, hey fam. He's like, hey yo, I need that 12 stringer. All right, we about to do JTR. He's like, okay, say less. Buddy's Tech is like, hey, is your organ okay? Any rain slipping over? All right. So shout out to Buddy's Tech who stepped in at the Gorge as well to play little keys as well. So they're all checking in, make sure everything's okay. It's been raining on and off. Dave's gonna make some small talk. Hey Carter, how's the kids? Chilling right there with Stefan, and he's waiting for that 12 string to come out because they got to make this audible. All right, Stefan looked up at the sky, right? Everyone, by the way, people have been chanting for most of the show JTR in between songs. I heard it on Sirius XM. Their audio mics for Sirius XM radio picked up the JTR chants. Guitar comes up. So he's about to give this away. Boom. Shout out to Tim Reynolds, playing like an alien, looking like E.T. right there. He is a guitar wizard. And look at that 12 stringer. He's going to hand it over to Dave. Now, I want to slow this down. We want to slow this down because we want to show you what happened here. Right? Let's slow it down even more in a second. But all right, this is in slow motion, guys. He's playing JTR. Now he's playing. People are going nuts. Now look at that. Boom. Look at that rain. We want to look at this even closer. As he begins to play JTR, the rain is down on me. Okay, this is like Terror Squad and Lil Wayne Make It Rain on the crowd right here. Look at this. Slow motion. Look at that. You start to see a little raindrops coming. Drop top. Raindrop, drop top. Boom. Look at that. The heavens open up as JTR is being played. This is a special moment again, just across river, Giant Stadium, Two Step in the Rain, about just over a decade ago, almost actually over 20 years ago. But look at this. Look at that. The rain was coming down. There was actually hail falling down in parts of the venue. People reported that to me yesterday. This is a magical moment as Dave plays in slow motion Two Step. Look at that. Ladies, I know you're going to clip this part. Dave in the rain, slow motion. Look at that. Let's speed it back up. This is a special moment for this tour. And it shows you Dave is in New England. There's rain coming down. He's going to play JTR. This is regular speed right here. So there you have it, JTR on the rain. It's your boy Conserviz 34. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. DMB Postal Stream for Hartford coming up tonight, June 10th, 2023. All right, peace. That was commentary earlier from the JTR tour debut. But tonight we're going to talk Hartford. I'll talk Hartford because that's where I was. The city I was born and raised in. The Whalers left, but DMB still comes back one night, not two, but what are you going to do? And we'll talk about the fact when you have Tim with the flying V and Dave in the drop D, it's either don't drink the water or shake me. They actually played both tonight. We'll talk about that. The DMB post show stream starts right about. Hold on. Hold on. All right, we good. Now. It's your boy Concert Viz 34 back at home. What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34. Yep, so your boy Concert Viz 34 coming to you here. What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34. Aria. Okay, so this is Aria, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and about your love for the Dave Matthews Band.
I've been a fan of the band since April 28, 1998, and if you recognize the date, that's when Before These Crowded Streets was released.
Alpine is definitely a better venue than Summerfest, but we'll take it. I think I've been going to shows for about 20-something years.
I always tell people, like, compare DMB to now to when I first started. And I got started, in my opinion, I feel like I got started late. Like, I was at the very end of the band's prime. I feel like that 03 to 06 was like the end of the prime. 07, 08 was like, you know, we're at the very end. And then when Roy passed.
Dave really, this is the thing. Dave has put, Rashawn has been assigned the quarterback of this team. He is the coach, the play caller. He designs the jams. Dave just shows up and plays whatever he's going to play. (860) Hartford, Connecticut. What up? Shout out Enfield. Shout out New Britain, Connecticut. What up? Bristol, home of ESPN. What up? Waterbury, Connecticut. The Dirty Water. What up? Gun waving, New Haven. What up? Best pizza in the world is from New Haven, Connecticut. No, on this side of the Atlantic. Best pizza in America, New Haven, Connecticut. Hartford, what up? West Hartford, what up? East Hartford, what up? New Hartford out in Litchfield County. What y'all know about that? What up? Heartland, Connecticut. What up? Fairfield, Connecticut. What up? Real romantic, Connecticut. What up? Where I went to college. What up? Eastern Connecticut. I see y'all out there. Storrs, Connecticut. Home of UConn. Huskies. Don't forget to hit that like button, folks. We're about to get started. What up, what up? It's your boy Conserviz 34. Finally back at the crib. Thank you guys for the patience. This was an interesting show, for sure. I know there are a lot of people I didn't say what up to. Gotta give a shout out to the homie. Someone said Summers, Connecticut. Right? Isn't that where that's yeah, we used to play y'all in hockey growing up. Summers had a co-op, I believe. Philly B, what up? Shout out to Philly B in the chat. That's my boy from Eastern. We played hockey together at Eastern Connecticut State University club hockey, right? Uncle Phil. He is Uncle Phil. Him and his brother. His brother recently married and recently a father was there as well. Oh, I gotta say, shout out to my guy John in the line. Shout out to John in the line. It was nice to meet you, and everyone who said what up today. And again, if I didn't see you, I'm sorry. We got Greg, aka Groton 27. He was on the rail, okay? And rail slugs did not stop him and Sandy from getting on that rail. That's what we love to see. We love to see people getting on the rail that don't push and shove their way there and say, "Well, I'm on the couch tour. I'm on the couch tour. I promise you." No, no, no. My boy Michael is doing couch tour and he's not on the lawn. So stop it. Bruh. Stop lying. You're not part of the couch tour. You don't look like you can hold a phone steady. Okay? So listen, I'm not gonna
Stop the cap.
stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
Okay? But I am happy that people got on the rail for I don't know. Greg, have you been on the rail before? I know you've been to, a lot of shows. I don't know. Have you been on the rail? Let me know. And if not, I'm guessing it's your first Hartford one, right? I don't think or at least in recent memory, because I mean before. But let me know. But glad to see that. Oh, he got one. Wait, hold on. Michael's here, the Wheel Channel, aka in New Jersey NJ Dispensary Channel. Shout out to Michael. All right. So we'll talk about a couple things. Let's talk about the show first. We'll talk about some of the stuff on the rail. Oops. I gotta switch back. At JTR June. Give me one moment, folks. I don't know. Let me know if anyone thought getting in was easier and getting out was harder for this show. Let me know, Greg, Michael. 920. What is it? Let's see. Okay, we're gonna pull up the set list. I will walk you through this. I will say off the bat, this was by far not my favorite set list for like as far as personal favorites, but I enjoyed um I enjoyed seeing the band. I enjoyed seeing the band. I enjoyed seeing everyone again. Um I mean last night had the better set list by far and oh, it was a nightmare. 100% night fair. Leaving everyone was yeah. It was feminine. Feminine says that. Took me an hour to get out. Yeah, it took a little longer than normal, I feel like, to get out. And I thought I was gonna get there and nope. So it is what it is. Thankfully I live in Hartford County, so it's easy to no matter what, it was only gonna, it wasn't gonna take me an hour to get home, right? So I think the highlights of this were you had placement of songs in unique spots. First, a song that Jane likes as the tour debut opener of the show, right? So that's unique, right? And first time since May of 2016. We also have a say goodbye at the E1 spot in a number 40 tees. And I was like, oh, that's number 4. Like I could hear that. And I could see Dave and where he was. And I was in the 200 dead center at the back of the lower level in Hartford. Great view. I mean, very close to the stage. behind the pit. The only thing is, being 5'7", there were a couple basketball players, so there were some impediments. But listen, I will take those seats any day of the week over no seats. Okay, I feel extremely blessed to be able to have gotten those. And so yeah, the main theme here is they had a say goodbye to open the E1, and you had Song That Jane Likes to open, right? 40 is not a tour debut, really. It's a tease. It can't be by Layla law, but technically has not been teased at all this year. So that was the big theme: is you have stuff in different places. The other thing, Feminine says the number 40 tease kills. Yeah, I was like, oh, come on. But I'll take that. I mean, it hasn't been, I feel like in Hartford, we haven't even gotten anything close to number 40. That's the SPAC. Every time I go to SPAC, and Greg Red at the Rail says, yeah, number 40. That was a 40 tease. Usually, like, SPAC has that number 40 tease. So it's cool to get it in Hartford. So you have Song That Jane Likes opens up. And that was great to have that diversity of an opener, right? Everyone thought it was going to be Bismarck. The other thing, if you notice about the set, there was um really no long. So you did have a couple of things. So you have Typical Situation as a jam, but other than that, there weren't any songs with full-fledged classic jams, right? Stay or Leave is next. Satellite is after that. Dave noodled a little bit. And I figured it would be Satellite or Proudest Monkey given the key it was in. And so Dave noodled and played it. Now, I'll say All You Ever Wanted Was Tomorrow. Speaking of jams, while this was not a Lie in Our Graves or Seek Up style jam as far as length or time, All You Ever Wanted Was Tomorrow was a great buildup. And All You Ever Wanted Was Tomorrow, it felt an organic way to get the horns in. It felt like an organic way for the horns to shine, and they fit. So that was good, especially because this new album isn't going to engage a lot of the casual and just fans in general, whether you like deep cuts, whether you don't. The longtime fans that return back to Hartford, a lot of these new songs, it's going to take time for them to sink in, and they may never get the love of the classics. And that's just how it is with any artist. I do think D&B fans learn to grow and love fairly newer songs. But that was good. Gray Street. Now I saw they switched to that 12 string, and I'm like, what is it gonna be? I was thinking, oh, it could be Gray Street. I was like, long shot. I knew it wasn't gonna be JTR. I was like, could it be Big Eye Fish? Right? Could it be Big Eye Fish? But it ended up being Gray Street. And I think one of the things I've appreciated is Gray Street is a song that I love singing at shows. And that third verse still hits. I love it. Keep it around, Dave. Walk Around the Moon comes next. I was like, are they going to do the Stone? Because with Walk Around the Moon, Jeff has the baritone guitar. He has the baritone guitar, and then he has a soprano sax over it because he has to play both. So I was like, oh, is it going to be the Stone? Because the baritone, but no, he has a soprano. So they played Walk Around the Moon. No Stone tour debut today. This ends my streak of my first show of the year being the Stone tour debut. 2021, Mansfield first show. Guess what they opened with? The Stone. And then 2021, Mansfield, they opened with the Stone, my first show back. And then 2022, Hartford's my first show. They opened with, oh no, it was my second show. It was the first weekend, but my second show. I forgot about that. They did Mansfield first. And they played the Stone in Hartford. Now, Walk Around the Moon, I still like it. I think it has staying power. At this point, when Samurai Cop had already been played out because it was played before the album, then played after, I was like, I don't need any more Samurai Cop.
Nope.
So far, Walk Around the Moon still sounds great to me in a live setting. Okay. Madman's Eyes in a live setting still hits. Usually Madman's Eyes has gotten slightly better, and I know there's been some versions that have been powerful. Now, talk about song placement. You Might Die Trying at the 7th spot was pretty cool. Now, I guess Dave has closed out a lot of sets towards the end of the sets. Had that when I've been there. So having it a little early has been nice. I know sometimes I think he's opened his show with it, and I'm sure he's had it at close to the 7th spot before. But I like that. Now, when you talk about Virginia in the Rain, that's the next song. I think here's the thing how I feel. I love Virginia in the Rain. I have a bias towards it because my family, my dad's side of the family is from Virginia. I think about my grandma's cousin, uh, or really the big uncle Tweezer, right? Rest in peace. I think about him, and we developed a connection about 3 years or so before the pandemic, and then he passed away during the pandemic. And before that, we talked once a month, if not more. We were both men at the time that were single. He lost his wife years ago. I'm talking like 20, 30 years ago. And at the time when we first started talking, I was single. Um, and then he passed. So I think about him, and I think about like I go to see my family, my dad's family in Virginia. So Virginia Rain's a special song. By the way, both times they've played it in Hartford. They only played it twice in Hartford. I've been wearing this Billy Joel shirt. So it's funny, 2015, the only Hartford show. That was the first ever Virginia in the Rain, and then tonight I wore this same shirt. So this shirt is 2 for 2 for Virginia in the Rains in Hartford specifically. As I just talked about Madman's before, sounds great. Love it in rotation. I know some people may not like it or maybe over. I still think it's great. And I think to me, the acoustic version of that gave me more appreciation for the full band version. Dave on Howard Stern with the 12 stringer playing it gave me more appreciation for the lyrics of Madman's Eyes. I tend to be more of a music person than the lyrics person as far as analyzing the lyrics. I can tell you every transition or thing that's going on with the music, but the lyrics, I forget them more than Dave does. And sometimes I'm like, oh, that's what the lyric meant. So I think Madman still deserves it. This I Want You, She's So Heavy in the After Everything, which will be the first video that's uploaded to my channel. um, I thought this was great. What I was shocked by, maybe this was just my row. A couple people started to walk out. Now, this was again, could have just been my row. I'm dead center in the lowers. I mean, who knows? Um, I was like, yo, they're doing a Beatles cover. This is the one point in the show where maybe you get more. And again, I think it was just my section. That's when they walked, and they stayed. Same people that walked in, they stayed for other stuff. But I thought it was overall the crowd enjoyed that. People started, you could hear a little further away from me, people were cheering and like, oh sweet. Like you play a Beatles song, you play a Stone song, a Dylan song, and you got the right demographic or crowd. Like obviously if like Lil Baby plays a Dylan song, a lot of the crowd's not gonna know it. A rock show like or a DMB show, a OAR show. I never been to OAR show. I don't know, but like some sort of act like DMB. You do a Beatles or Stones cover, it's gonna get the crowd going. And even some of the youngins who come to these shows, they like the Beatles. I was talking to Shout out to Hartford PD. I was talking to one of the officers. They do a great job of Hartford of on the walk down. They have great traffic control with officers from downtown, and they have them downtown. They have them like in between the edge of downtown. They have them around. I was talking to one as I'm crossing one of the streets, and they were saying, "Oh, my my daughter, because I had a Billy Joel shirt. It's like my daughter's like 15 and she likes Billy Joel, Ian, Elton John. So even the youngins and people who are in their 20s and their teens, they know the Beatles. They know that because their parents passed it on to them, which was passed on probably from their parents. At this point, it's crazy. Like the gen, what is it? It's Alpha Gen. I think it's like an Alpha generation now, 2015 or 2010 to present. Um, this music still resonates even as there's more younger fans at these shows, but most of the demographics 35 to 45 at a DMB show. Oh, Michael says people thought it was a new song. I mean, I guess if you hear the beginning, you don't hear the, I want you. Maybe it doesn't hit you as well. Not everyone knows the Beatles, believe it or not. And listen, I know certain stuff from the Beatles, but I don't know everything. So that's how it be sometimes. So that after that, now listen, here's what I'll say. I like After Everything. I don't think it's as cringeworthy as people do. And if you do think that's the case, that's fine. Greg says, listen, I would doubt it was a sellout. I think the amphitheater, the 7,500 tickets in the amphitheater probably sold out or just were on hold for people who maybe didn't show up. The lawn in Hartford, I mean, Hartford hasn't done 20K in a while. I think last year or something they did a little less than that. What up, Mike? Hope you're doing well. But like it says, 13,000 people in the pit. Yeah, 13,900. Yeah, right. 1,000 are scattered across, right? Everyone's in the pit. But yeah, so I wouldn't be. I doubt it was a sellout. Now again, I was at my when Dave got on stage. I was at my seat. So all right, After Everything, and of course, After Everything, Dave has that baritone. Okay, he's gonna play another song. I knew right there it was gonna be Bayou. I was like, it's not gonna be Break Free. I saw his hands go in the position of Bayou, close to that 12th fret area, around that 12th fret where you see the dot. I was like, okay, yeah, he about to play Bayou, bruh. I knew it. All signs pointed to it, because that Break Free and some of the other stuff fooled the thing. Like, I mean, so right. That all that stuff is further down. Fool to think is standard tuning, acoustic, standard tuning, acoustic. Um, I felt like typical situation was reparations for Bayou. Although again, I love Buddy at the end of the jam. I love what he does at the end of that. And the crowd, I think, the thing is, I talk about Bayou. Bayou got a lot of cheers. People were going nuts. They were cheering Buddy on. So that's why they play it. Um, I was hoping I was hoping that they wouldn't play it and just play the outro, but hey, that's what they're gonna do. They have to attend to the crowd. And they sound great on bike. I'm not you watch the video and I'll tell you why it's not my favorite. Now here's the thing. Typical situation again, reparations. That was the one jam of the set. That was the only jam. And I'm just saying this as I'm not saying that's good or bad. That's just how this show was. Um that's just how the show was. It was one jam. Dave pulled a Nas and said, "Yo, all I need is one jam, one jam." So that was, I mean, Typical was special. As you know, I love dynamic contrast, and Typical has dynamic contrast. The jam's great. It goes back and forth and back and forth, and it's fun. After that, let me pull up Twitter. This is a way for now. I don't want to say most of you guys. A lot of you guys know this. And a lot of this comes from me knowing and playing guitar and understanding what the different tunings are and actually playing those tunings. I can now say outside of the busted stuff tuning, I've essentially played nearly every tuning that Dave has. I played the baritone. I played I raised B, drop D, standard tuning. Um, I played a 12 string standard and a 12 string drop D. So understanding like the different guitars he uses, and then the orchestra, the composition, if it's a bari sax, if it's a tenor sax, if it's an alto sax, it's easy to kind of pick up stuff, right? And if we go to this right here is a way that you can tell. And again, I don't know how many of you guys, but a lot of you guys may already know this. All right, when it's Dave drop D and Tim's flying V, it's don't drink or shake me. Those are the two. Those are the two indicators of shake my. It's not going to be ants. Now you got the flying V in standard tuning. It could be ants, right? But ants marching is in standard tuning. Don't drink the water and shake me like a monkey are in drop D tuning, and you're going to have that like lighter color guitar, right? So both of these were played tonight, but I knew that at that moment when I saw Dave come out with the drop D guitar, and I saw Tim get the flying V, I was like, it's gonna be one of those. At the time I said it was gonna be Don't Drink, I believe. The video, I have video of it. I have to look at it, but I was like, okay, after typical sit, they're gonna play Don't Drink, right? They're not gonna play Shake Me Like a Monkey mid set. They're gonna close with it. Duh. No, I didn't know that. But so they play Don't Drink. Tim's harmonics. Tim isn't doing those harmonic things anymore, or like those dun dun dun, or it doesn't seem as loud in the mix, which is great. I think that's a great progress for it. I still think it should be slower. I still think the song should be slower and be more campfire based. That's why I love the Dave solo version or Dave and Tim. I think both of those versions are better than the full band version, in my opinion. I understand why people love the full band version. It gets people more lit. Looking for a Vein comes next. I thought this was good. I think I captured this on film. I agree with Greg. I would have Shake Me is better mid set. Shake Me is better mid set. To me. Space Between. This was my first Space Between with the Barry guitar, from what I remember. Um, Dave has been playing it on acoustic guitar for years, and now it's on Barry. I don't know if it originally. Again, I wasn't when the Everyday tour came. I wasn't going to shows, but it sounds much better on what was intended to be like the album, on the baritone guitar, the reverb. They had everything dialed in with that reverb, and it sounded great. Nancy's Into Stay. Let's talk about that. Nancy's Into Stay was, I respect the uniqueness of that. People thought they were going to go into Warehouse and they went into Stay. That was a little pump fake. That was that little Kobe Bryant pump fake. Oh, and then get it in, right? R.I.P. Kobe. But I liked how they did that little pump fake. Would I rather have had another Before These Crowded Streets song? Absolutely. But I like how at least they're trying to get creative, giving us that pump fake and saying, psych, got him, got him. And they do Stay. So I think that was a pretty cool thing there. My dad says, what did my wife think about the show? She thought it was cool. Um, Again, it's a lot to take in, but she thought it was a good, it was good. Will she go again? She said she would consider going again. I think the biggest thing with her was like, when you're not used to shows. Actually, it was weird. There wasn't, at least around me, and again, every area is different. There was more cigarette smoke than the Mary Jane around me. And I don't like cigarette smoke. And I think that's what that was one thing that she said, is a cigarette smoke. When you're not used to, I don't like cigarette smoke, but listen, the Mary Jane, when people light up that, I'd rather have that over the cigarette smoke, right? And if I had to choose one, I would choose the Mary Jane. And that I didn't smell it. And it's the thing is, it's legal in Connecticut now, and I still didn't smell it. And I've been to shows for years at Hartford, and that's like if they had an air freshener for Hartford smell at a Dave show, it'd be the MJ Mary Jane, and they didn't have it. That smell, like I didn't feel that tonight. But then again, it wasn't like what was you gonna light up to if you were an old school DMB fan, right? They didn't do 41. They didn't do So Much to Say. They didn't like those are the songs people usually get the eye and then they right. So I don't know. Um, so that was a cool way to end. Now, what I thought after they did 17 down in the main set, I thought they was gonna do 3 in the encore, and I don't count that number 40, right? I thought they was gonna do hold on, let's look at this. The Snow Outside said, can you please hold on, let's look at this. Cause bro, this is too late. This is like 3 years later. Here, let's see. Someone tag me in this. And shout out to them for sharing, but this is this the Snow Outside. Okay. This is in 2018, man. This is in 2018. This is what? Like this is okay, so it says, can you please close some shows with Say Goodbye? Watching the summer tour, warm up, Say Goodbye, 5/21/14. This would be a ridiculous closer, XOXO, XOC in Colorado. Yeah, no, no. I'm sorry. This is not. I mean, hey, they played it, but this is from 2000. This is June 2018 in Colorado. We in Connecticut, right? This did not. This is just like you. A clock is right twice. A broken clock is twice right. Right twice a day. Um. Yeah, this is not. Nah, nah. Like. Hold on, we gotta come on. We guys. Let's see. Can I even comment on this? Oh, yeah, broken clock is right. But I like, but I loved it in the encore. Now, speaking of that, guys, again, oh wow, there's a lot of people on tonight. Hey, shout out to everyone on. Don't forget to hit that like button. Hit that like button, follow, subscribe. But loved it in the encore. So I did make a joke here that Lauren says felt like the set list was predictable. Was there any surprises? No, no. Here's what I'll say, Lauren. There wasn't anything, there wasn't a song. This actually, well, I will say goodbye. I don't think anyone has song that Jane likes to open, right? I don't think anyone had Dancing Nancy's in the Stay to close. It was easy to, I assume, and here's the thing, there was no 41, right? No 41. What was the night before? Let's see what they had the night before. Did they play it last night? Okay, so they did play it. But like, think about this. There was no monsters. Monsters has been played even with these one night stands. Monsters has been one of the most frequently repeated songs. 11 plays, right? There was no monsters. There was no Bismarck. Like I said like the free space in the bingo for the setlist game is to put Bismarck. There was no Bismarck, right? There was one Crash song. I mean, this set list. Now you could say, listen, there was no heavy hitter. Like if they would have played a full number 40, I think Say Goodbye and Typical are the two best. Like those are the best two quality songs. They didn't play Break Free, right? They didn't have now Say Goodbye is a cool tour debut, but they played Say Goodbye last year in Hartford. So I wouldn't say it was predictable. I would say that there wasn't any sort of like they surprised us, but there was not like last year with the Stone opening debuting in Hartford. That was something like, oh, boom. And not to say that Typical is not a great song, right? And not to say that Say Goodbye in the E1 is dope. And the song that Jane likes was something that was special. I think last year just was an overall better show. The two breaks, the Stone tour debut right there, I walk away, I'm happy. Or I'm already at a higher level. There weren't jams in this show. I think that's the biggest thing. There weren't jams. The band was just kind of playing through. Right. Ilana says Lion Our Grave. So right, yeah, I thought there would be something, another stuff, even a Seek Up, because last night they cut Seek Up, which they should have cut it because you have a early curfew venue, and they added the JTR. But I thought maybe they would have a Seek Up tonight, right? And again, I say all this saying that this band sounds incredible. The band sounds incredible. They are very aware. They have great awareness of how they can sound the best. But I wouldn't have picked. And then okay, Say Goodbye is played. So let's get to the encore. The number 40 T's, I was like, oh, yo, this about to be lit. I like when I heard the number 40 T's, I'm like, oh, we gonna get a 3-song encore. Like we getting it. We getting it. And technically we did if you count the 40 T's, but technically it's just two. But I was like, oh, this number 40 T's into Say Goodbye. And I knew it was Say Goodbye because I saw Jeff. Jeff came with the flute straight up out of the encore. So that was awesome to start. But then Shake Me to Close. I'm one of the proud people, and there's a handful of people that this has happened to. I got the Shake Me Like a Monkey encore closer in SPAC Night 1, and now I have it less just 11 months later in Hartford, and we got the Shake Me Like a Monkey closer in Hartford for that. So you know what though? I'm not a fan of Shake Me, but closing, closing an encore, but it did bring energy at the end. People were some people had already left, and I think I will say this, and I was happy Don't Drink the Water and Bayou were not set closers or encore closers. Like I walked out during Don't Drink the Water when it was in the encore at Mansfield. I think that shit like Say Goodbye, and I think if they ended on Say Goodbye, let's say they open with Shake Me and they end on Say Goodbye, that even pushes this thing up a little bit. And Matt Souden, yeah, he got it in SPAC, yeah, SPAC Night 1 too, and yeah, it was interesting, but I think here's the thing too, and you got to consider this. Dave has Dave has had a lot this week. The 1-2 punch of doing Howard Stern at like 5 in the morning, and then doing a concert, a solo concert at that. To do that, have a sound check, and then do that concert. That was a lot, and then do Forest Hills, and then they did go out of Teterboro, right? They did Teterboro to I don't know if they did Brainerd or BDL, but like the band, just to give you an idea, there's no there's no smooth ride from Forest Hills in Queens to an airport where they can take that PJ. They had to go to Teterboro, I believe, and then they flew into. Did they fly into Bradley? I don't know. Um, but that's a rough ride because you got to go through the city, and the expressways, the BQE, the Cross Bronx Expressway, whatever. No matter what way you take to get from Queens to Teterboro, it's a rough ride. And Dave with the smoke and all that this week, because he did go outside. He talked about that going outside, and he had to travel in between. But it's just, I think it was a lot for Dave. And so the band comes back on the 14th in New York State. They go back to New York State. I'm sure they'll go home. Um, it's possible because it's still a couple of days and they can all fly back in with flights. They can do all that. So, but I think that this show also felt like, hey, they've Dave's especially a Dave solo show is much harder because he has to, everything is on him. There's a lot of parts of songs where Dave is playing, but the spotlight is not on him. And I think he likes that because that's why he has such a bigger band feel in this post-Roy era, to have Tim full time with the band, have Rashawn not only play but take over some of the quarterback responsibilities of jams, working with Jeff, really doing all that, and then having Buddy come in with keys that can fill in certain things the way a fiddle can't. Right? Hines, how was All You Ever Wanted Was Tomorrow Live? I loved the jam part. I think the jam gave it for the horns to come up. I liked All You Ever Wanted. And that was a song where you got the energy of the crowd because they're playing all these sax parts and it built up to this awesome crescendo. I think one of the challenges with this current, so I really wish they would have, and this is something that logistically would be challenging, but to me, I appreciate quieter songs. I wanted to hear after, no, It Could Happen Tonight. I wanted to hear that. I was a little shocked. I thought we'd get maybe An Ocean and the Butterfly. We did get 5 Walk Around the Moon songs. But I can appreciate some of the quieter songs from this new album. And the crowd, though, like when they were playing some of the newer songs, the crowd was still talking. Now, they weren't talking directly in front of my face, but you could see chatter and more conversation around me during some of the moments of the show. Now, it wasn't like, again, there's 2 types of talking. There's people that you can actually hear, and there's more they're talking below the music so they don't take away from it. But I really wish there was a show where you could appreciate that without people talking. Virginia in the Rain, I can see why maybe they didn't bring it back full band as much because it was a point where people were not as engaged in on that song. I love that song, but they weren't engaged in the song, and that happened a couple other times throughout the set, right? So that was the show. Again, not my favorite set, but I think the band played great. They have a great chemistry. It's an album tour. I would tell you, go see it once, see how you feel, and then decide if you want to keep going. Some fans will enjoy this. Other fans may say, hey, there's a lot missing. When you have 5 Walk Around the Moon songs, you don't get a set like last year where you have like a Stone, right? That's not coming. So it is what it is. But again, I'm so happy to be back and seeing this band, really seeing everyone on the road. Um, can we talk about Walk Around the Moon? I love the melody and harmonies that Dave and Buddy and I think Rashawn do. I love the song, the flow of it. And again, it doesn't get, to me, it's not old. I love the way it sounds. I love the way it feels live. And every time it's a journey and it's fun. The Come Tomorrow tracks don't hold up like that. Even Virginia in the Rain tonight, it sounded good. But again, I was like, the crowd's not digging it as much. And you remember, I was someone who advocated for this. Now they made the right. If you're gonna play Come Tomorrow songs, just play Virginia in the Rain and Black and Bluebird. Do not play Can't Stop. That's the one pro, and I will say that that's the pro is the Can't Stop, the She, Can't Stop, She, That Girl Is You. Yes, if you have that on your bingo card, I did speak about this. The Come Tomorrow songs I hate. So fill out your bingo card. I should make a bingo. We should have some bingo card generated cards. Maybe I'll do that. Or have somebody make them. That's what we'll do. I'm gonna get somebody. There's an app. Maybe have like something where someone makes these bingo generated cards and I don't even see them. And then if you get bingo, let me know. But anyway, yeah, the Come Tomorrow song, and like I said, no Sledgehammer, no Watchtower, which I'm not a fan of post Roy. That was evident. The freshest stuff the only cover was I Want You, She's So Heavy, and it sounded fresh. I didn't feel like I was suffering through a cover. I got to give the band credit for that. That's a big step for them to not have the Sledgehammer crutch. Because when a band does 40 plus shows a year, and when they have experience over and over, there's a reason why you have these covers like Sledgehammer or like Wash Out, because they know their go-to songs. In a long tour, you have to have go-to songs you can play in your sleep. And that's what Sledgehammer is. Right. And I think that's also what Bayou is. Bayou, they know that thing. They could play that thing anywhere. But don't play it at the shows I'm at. But I do respect how they can do it. No Ants either. Yeah. But Ants is not a frequent Ants is not as frequent like Crash and Ants. And you know what's interesting? They played Crash into Me last night, right? Yeah. They played Crash into Me last night. But I was shocked that there was no Monsters, even though it was played the night before. That's a song that is not uncommon to repeat. I was shocked by the Shake Me tour debut. I didn't think it would start now, but I think the circumstances of wanting to get out of there and rest and recover, or just Dave had a long week. That probably led to it. That was probably a contributing factor to it. Someone says Two Step. Yeah, Two Step has not been around. When I saw the Dave like that Dave solo show, they played a Two Step version. And it sounded like it was being played live at the stage, like they were opening with Two Step. But I think it was the Stephen Talkhouse Two Step, I want to say. So they kind of the Sirius XM had some time to kill, and they kind of faked this out. I was able to get to the warehouse line. Was able to talk to some people about the QR code process, which by the time I got there at around 5:30, they had like the QR code folks were already moving along, and warehouse people were waiting. What was I gonna say? So today, what I heard was there were warehouse people put in 2 requests for the warehouse, and 2 tickets from the same order, and one person got QR code, the other person in the order didn't, and they were hoping that they can meet up. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, seltzer. But what I will say about the entry process, there was a long line to get in today. I don't know if it's because of the tailgating, but people were texting me. I was almost about to go visit someone, and the show started. I thought they were going to hold the show looking at the lines, but I think again, this seems like a show where Dave was like, "All right, I'm playing, and I gotta be somewhere after, or we got to get out of here." That's what it felt like, because they started on time. Let's see, what was the timestamp? I'm gonna check my phone. Um, let's take a look. So the band got on stage. Oh, that's yesterday's breakdown. Looks around. Oh, 741. 740, 741. You ever think about like, I don't know if you guys have seen pictures on social media, like people take a picture and they're at like the 41st table or like the 40th table. You ever think like I always imagine like before the picture is taken, like someone's like threatening people away from that table so they can say like, "Hey, I'm at table 41. Oh my god." Or like I just imagine like someone at the deli pulling like they're at order number 3 and someone's pulling all the numbers so they can get to 41. You ever see people post stuff on social media and they're like, "Oh my, like I'm at table 41." I probably did it a couple of times, but I always imagine like them before they take that picture, like beating up someone so they can get to the table. Right. Um, but yeah, I always thought about that. But there was a line, and there's a line out for regular entry to the venue closer to the start time. I think it was people straggling along. This is also the first event at the Xfinity Theater of the year, I believe. And so that was another thing. They're getting everything ready. Typically, there's a couple of more shows before the DMB hits this time of year. But DMB was the first, from what I believe. And the pit line was a whole nother fiasco. So to get your pit wristband, if you were non-warehouse, you had to go up to a certain area. That line was out the door into like like into the areas where you get concessions outdoors. There's outdoor concessions and indoor concessions, and like the line went from indoors to the outdoors. Um, but it just seemed like the line was much longer. It just seemed like someone sent me a picture. J-Bo, and I'm sorry we couldn't. I gotta meet up J-Bo, man, from Salt Lake. Well, he's from Connecticut, but he's in Salt Lake City now, lives there, but he comes back for some stuff here and there, and was at the show tonight. But the pit line, because the pit was empty when I walked in, like 6:30, 6. No, I think I walked in a little after 6, and the pit was not that full. And then the pit at 7 was not that full compared to what you usually see. And there's always people that arrive late to the pit and arrive late to their seats. But I was like, what's going on? And so yeah, it was just it seemed like, and they'll sharpen that up, and I'm sure Mansfield next weekend when I go won't have those same issues. Oh, the wristband line was warehouse people too. So maybe that's what it was then. And maybe they were late arriving warehouse people. So that was just another interesting thing, is like they start, and Dave acknowledged that. I think it was after Stay or Leave or Satellite. He's like, looks like there's people still getting in. And so I think what would have been devastating for diehards, but most diehards, to get there early, if they opened with the Stone, I think Seek Up would have been a great opener because you have the 18 minutes for people to get in. Um, I It's interesting because like I always like, how do you get to a show? And again, their life happens, and not everyone lives close, right? This is my home show, but like sometimes people walk into a show and it's like, what? Like, is that like some people? But I know there's other reasons, and some people go to multiple ones. But yeah, I was like, I need to get to my seat. And I'm late for a lot of stuff in real life, but I make sure I get to my seat for that. I think, but it is hard because sometimes the band has gone on closer to 7:30 at a venue, and then the next time they've gone on a little later. I remember in 2021, the in Guilford, the C19 wristband thing they were doing, that was horribly ran the first night. It was a disaster. And that's a whole nother thing. I'm glad we're over that. You had to get wristbands to see that someone saw your card, your C19 card, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was pretty rough. But it was part of what, well, yeah, they were doing at the time. So, poster. This poster was okay. This doesn't do it justice. I think it looks a little better than this. I didn't actually see the poster. I think I saw it on the real quick, but I didn't get a close up really analysis. I like the amps. I like the thing to the front. The animals, I'm not as big of a fan of. I like the mic. I did not get this poster because where I am now, since I've been married, there's not a lot of wall space, and I gotta still put up a bunch of posters that I've been meaning to frame and put up. So I'm very picky about what posters I will get. It's got to be a baller. Plus, I just bought the Stone poster because it's the Stone poster, and it's Daniel Danger, and he's awesome. So I think the artist he did the Dayton one, but I just like, it is what it is. But I think this year has had better posters than last year. If we look at the beginning of the tour last year and this year's got a pretty good average. If you were to grade all the posters this year, now obviously there's always better posters. Like the more posters they do, the more room for error of mediocrity. But I think this year is a little better than last year. Feminiscence, I dislike the color palettes. I think that, yeah, the color palettes too, which is the color, the shades they've chosen of the colors. Yeah, but I think this is a good post. I know some people really liked it, and so yeah, that was cool. And there were trading cards. I didn't get one, but that's a thing for all the shows this year, and I'm sure people are going to try to get a full collection of them, which will actually be a pretty impressive feat because you got some shows where, listen, few people are going to be able to get them to even flip. So we'll have to see. Mike D'Agostino's first time seeing the trading cards. Yeah, since opening night of this year, they've had those. The Woodlands, and actually Todd Slater, the poster artist, signed someone's card. So that was a thing for that Slate, because Slater was at the show. That's kind of cool. It's his home, he has roots. Todd Slater has roots. His father was a journalism, rest in peace to his father, but was a journalist in Texas, and he was at the Texas opener at the Woodlands. Oh, yeah. Yanni. Someone says the Stone in Mansfield next Saturday. Mark it down. I hope so. I really hope so. Hope Stone tour debut next Saturday. Interesting though, because again, usually we have Hartford, Mansfield together since 2015, where both of these went to one night. They've really tried to have them together. 2021, they didn't do Hartford. They did Mohegan as a Connecticut-based shows, and that was a little different. But when they've had Hartford and Mansfield since 2015, when they both are on the slate, they do them back to back. Sometimes Hartford first, Mansfield second, vice versa. This year they're Saturday. I'm not as big of a fan of that. I hope they don't do that next year. I love Hartford and Mansfield back to back, so then I do both, and then there's less repeats. I'm worried that there's going to be a lot of overlap from tonight to Mansfield, but we'll see. It could be different. Um, I think biggest shocker of the night is that there was no Bismarck. I think it was kind of like, oh, yeah, that's probably the biggest thing. What else? What else? What else? What are people saying? Yeah. What is this? Yeah, the little time of the clock. No, come on. It. I don't think Stefan was looking back at his tweets like, oh, someone said do say goodbye. I think the band just they decided to be creative and they did it. Um, let's see what else did I go through. Oh, this was. Did I show this already? When Say Goodbye started, and I'm next to my wife. Right.
Bruh.
This is funny. This was a fun. This was funny. Yeah, that's. I said I'm not Zion. Zion was nah. I'm loyal, man. Plus, black men don't cheat. It's a known stat. Pew Research studies show black men don't cheat. You know. Anyway, let me stop. Saying I ain't Zion. Well, I look like Zion Williamson, boo. Girl, I ain't Zion. I'm loyal, faithful black man. Um, what else? Oh, the video. I hope not a multi. I said multicam here. Where was that? And by multicam, I mean just taking a bunch of videos and the best video for each song. I want to try to do that. There were issues, and shout out to my wife. My wife said, had the idea to have us switch seats, but where I was, it was an incredible view of the stage. It's just for a camera, there's people in the way of Dave and all of that. So I have some videos. I'll upload them over the next day. But yeah, this is what it started out as, and then it got much worse. I love the Stevie Wonder house music. It was not Intervision's front to back, but they were playing. They were just playing a bunch of Stevie stuff. Yeah, there was two taper. Yeah, I saw taper rigs as well from the other side, from the non pit side, but I saw them on the actual railing, the pit railing. Line that says Zion likes his toast with coffee and jelly. Oh my god. Yeah, so I'm gonna sleep well tonight, man. Your boy Conspiracy 34. I'm tired. That's why I was the yawning. I know y'all don't like the yawning. Um, but again, I think if you're going to shows, go to one show and see how it is. I think I'm okay with the choices I've made for shows: Hartford, Mansfield, SPAC, Guilford. Even if they play crazy stuff in the West Coast, I'm okay with that. Also, the whole like analysis. I take just guys. Let me sit here. Let me give me one moment here because I think I need to talk about this set list. I think I need to talk about this. But give me 1 second. All right, thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for joining. It's your boy Conserviz 34 at the podium. As you guys know, they played Bayou and Can't Stop tonight. And I just want to say that I believe these were deliberate songs played because they knew I was there. I take full responsibility for being at the show and then making it so that they played Bayou and closed out with Shake Me. I do believe if I was not at this show, there would have not been a Shake Me closer. And I just want to apologize to the fans who were hoping for a Stone opener. I think I was flexing too much last night, talking about the Northeast and Dave having a bias towards the Northeast. Clearly, when Bayou, Satellite, and Shaking Like a Monkey are played, Dave believes in equity and he wanted to humble down the East Coast. So for those of you guys who were looking for a couple deep cuts, you probably wouldn't have gotten 2/3 of them, but for that 1/3 of the deep cuts, you would have gotten. I truly apologize. I hope you were able to make another show that I won't be at. I won't be at Darien Lake. I'm sure they'll get a JTR as well. And also, I will not be at Bangor, Maine. They'll probably get Shotgun just because I'm not there. So I do want to apologize on behalf of everyone who was hoping for more deep cuts tonight. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to get that out the way. Did I leave during Shake Me? No. My boy Pete did. Oops. I did not leave during Shake Me. But yeah, my boy Pete, who was in the back of the pit, he left. Uh, listen, my phones goes wild now when they play Bayou. Like it used to be a couple people as a joke. Now like half of Twitter and half of IG. It's like, haha, you got Bayou. Ah, you got Bayou. Concert Biz got Bayou. It's kind of funny, but now it's like now that I feel like they're just gonna play it every night that I'm there. And
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
it's pretty rough. The Bayou, my phone is like click, click, tick, 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 tick. Goes crazy. All right. Is that let me see if I got that upload right with the after everything. If so, I'll play it. Let's see. Oh, it still didn't upload. Let me take a look here. Oh, my after everything's still loading. So what can I do for my I don't know what to do for a closer. But yeah, this band is great to catch if you want to feel what this new album is like and get some stuff in between. Just be careful going to a bunch of shows and having high expectations. If your expectations are balanced, you'll be fine. But this is, and again, the band sounds great. They sound great. They're having fun. That's good to see because if they weren't having fun, this band is at a point where it could be a break or you're just not going to have that same joy on stage. It's going to translate to the crowd and how we feel. But great time at Hartford again. If I missed you, sorry. If I saw you, nice to meet you. Thank you guys. It's always great. Like I said, I met John in the lawn. Shout out to John again. We give you 2 shout outs. It's great to see people that you guys watch the stream, but you may not comment in the chat or in anything. So it's great to see some of you guys and again, I just appreciate the support for these streams. Let's see if I can find something. Hold on. Is there even anything on? my drive. Let's see if we can close out. Hold on, we'll get you something. The video may not look as good, but we'll try to get you something here. Let's see. What is this? Now we're gonna end with the space between. Let's see, what was this? All right, we'll close out with the last couple minutes to say goodbye here. Straight from the cloud. All right, it's your boy ConstantViz 34. Just remember, black men don't cheat. I repeat, black men don't cheat.
Nope.
But we're gonna end out with say goodbye. Thank you guys for watching. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. I'll be back on for Darien Lake, upstate New York. We'll see you guys in a couple days. Free dodo, band Bayou, and don't shake the monkey. Take care. Peace.